So welcome to the day 11 session of APM with Python. We are going to talk today about the concept of APM architecture. We are going to have a look at the Selenium JSON wire protocol. We will understand what do we mean by the word session in APM. We are going to talk about the concept of desired capabilities. And then we are going to talk about the concept of emulator and simulators. So in our yesterday's session, we started with the introduction of APM. We understood why APM is a popular open source solution for mobile test automation. We discussed about the APM philosophy, and we have also tried to set up Android Studio by setting up the Android Home, and we ensured that we were able to create an AVD using the interface available there. So are we all on the same page? Whatever challenges we were facing yesterday, are they all ironed out for you guys? So both of you have an AVD created, which is an Android virtual device. So what you have available is, you already have an Android real device and you now have an Android virtual device. So basically whatever automation of artifacts which we will be seeing, so primarily we will be dealing with automation of native, hybrid and web apps, which cover the three types. We are going to try them on both AVD and Android device, and at the script level we will understand what changes when we are switching these devices by understanding the concept of desired capabilities. Now before we proceed in further, any one of you in here already aware about Selenium as a test automation tool? Okay, so Samir, you are already aware of it. Okay, Marian, what about you? Have you ever worked with Selenium? Very little. Okay, no problem. Basically, APM, as we were discussing yesterday itself, is using inherently Selenium libraries and architecture only, with the mobile API coming into picture. So people who already know Selenium find it a little easier to switch to APM as a tool, but nevertheless, we are not assuming in here that you already know Selenium as a tool, so need not worry on that aspect. So APM at heart is a web server which is effectively written using the technology of Node.js, which exposes a REST API. So it receives connections from a client through the JSON wire protocol. It listens for commands and it executes those commands on a mobile device and responds with an HTTP response representing the result of the command execution. So we can put our server on different machines than our tests which are running on. We can also write down the test code and basically run the test on various cloud-based platforms available, like Sauce Labs, which provide automation test labs over cloud to receive and interpret the command. So if we look at the architecture, what you have available is a WebDriver script or an APM script, which sends automation commands in form of the JSON wire protocol using the HTTP request. So your data is being carried using the JSON wire protocol over the HTTP protocol, and it sends to this APM server. The APM server basically invokes the vendor-specific mechanism to execute those tests. So for Google or Android devices, it is going to invoke UI Automator, and for iOS, it is going to execute the XUI test. The device or the client where the execution has taken place sends back message to the APM server, which then sends back message to your script. So this is how the architecture is working. Now your WebDriver script in here is independent of your programming language which you are using. So that is why when you are working with APM, you can use any of the programming languages which APM support. Like you can write the same script in Java, Python, C#, Ruby, etc. JSON, we discussed about JSON when we were discussing about external data artifacts where we spoke about databases, Excel, XML and JSON. So JavaScript object notation is used to represent objects with complex data structures, and it is primarily used to transfer data between a server and a client. And it has pretty much become an industry standard to ensure that for REST web services, we send data using the JSON protocol, which plays a very strong alternative to XML. So an example of a JSON object being sent, you have a client, you send an HTTP post, JSON request where you have the data. So it says cities parrot unit is centigrade to the server. The server has got a service weather and it sends back to the response again in a JSON format. So this is basically using your JSON REST and HTTP interface just like APM will be using. So JSON wire protocol is a transport mechanism which is created by the WebDriver developers, and it specifies the set of standardized endpoints which are exposed via RESTful API. To know more about this JSON wire protocol, here is the link which is available. If you are interested to understand how it works, you can have a look at it. So now we are going to talk about the concept of session. A session is a medium to send commands to a specific test application, and commands are always performed in context of a session. So we establish a session around which we are able to send commands. So the commands are executed in context of the session. It is the client which is going to initiate a session with the server. And what we send is a post-session request to the server with a JSON object called as the desired capabilities object. So what is desired capabilities object? How is it useful? We will see shortly. Once the server has received this session request, it starts the session and it responds back with the session ID. All your commands are sent using that session ID to your APM server. Now we are going to talk about the concept of desired capabilities. So desired capabilities are key value pair which is sent to the APM server to tell what kind of automation session we are interested in. So what information is it carrying? It is carrying information based upon the environment for automation which we want to set. For example, with respect to the APM, the desired capability objects which are available are, for example, platform name. Which mobile platform do you want to use? Platform version. Device name. What is the name of your application? What is your browser name? So just have a look at this article. Do a read through it. You will understand that when we talk about this desired capabilities, it is basically key value pair which is sent to the server for a session request which is carrying information about the automation environment which they want to set up. Example, do you want to use an Android device or iOS device? What is the path of your application which you want to test? What is your browser name in case you are testing a web-based app? What is the timeout, etc. So we create this desired capabilities object and we pass this capabilities object to our very first request sent to the server for creating a session, and the server then responds back with the session ID. So I shared the link with you. Please go through it, spend like 5-10 minutes over it, read through it, try to understand the different type of capabilities object available for Android, for iOS, and this small paragraph. Please go through it. So you guys done reading with the article? Okay. Any questions in here? Anything which was not clear? Okay. So the APM server is used to interact with the platform, which is like your iOS or Android. And as discussed, it's an HTTP server which is written in Node.js and it uses the same concept as Selenium server. So APM provides us with the GUI version of the server which we all have downloaded. Let's try to run it. So you all must be having this icon on your desktop. Double click on it. It basically provides you an interface where it is going to ask you an IP address. So we provide the IP address of our local host and we start our server. So it asks for the host. We provide the host IP address. And we say start server. So it will basically start this REST interface listener. And now it is ready to receive your request from the script or basically from the client. So try this out please on your system. You all should be able to start the APM server and see this interface. The host is basically the machine on which you want to run your APM server. So for right now we basically are executing the test on the local machine. So once you are done executing the server, please let me know. The default port is always 4723. The steps for repeating APM. You have installed the APM server on your machine, Sameer. Then just double click on the icon to start the server. When you double click on your icon, it opens an interface. There it is going to ask you for a host IP address, that's your local host, which is 127.0.0.1. The port is 4723. Click on Start Server. It will run the server. This is what I am asking you to do. That's all. So run it. Let me know when you guys are done. Great. So you can stop it and close this interface. Marian, is it working for you also? Show me your screen, please, Marian. I have told you guys to put the IP addresses 127.0.0.1. Why are you putting as 0.0.0.0? Change your host 127.0.0.1. 3 zeros, last is 1. Yeah, last is 1, yeah. Great. Now start the server. No, 2 zeros. Remove this one. Yeah. So it's running. Where is the error?
None. It's fine now.
Fine? Cool.
I got confused.
No problem. So you guys can see my screen now? Okay. So we are done executing the APM server. Okay. Now let us talk about the two types of processes which we may try, emulation and simulation. Emulation or when we are creating an emulator like we did yesterday, it is the process of mimicking the outwardly observable behavior to match an existing target. The internal state for your emulation mechanism does not have to accurately reflect the internal state of the target which it is emulating. So while we are working with Android devices, what we create are emulators, which is basically targeting the observable behavior or the outside behavior, but it need not match your internal state of working of the actual target. Simulation, on the other hand, involves modeling the underlying state of the target. The end result of a good simulation is that the simulation model will emulate the target which it is simulating. So effectively, when you are trying to create a simulator, you are also ensuring that the underlying state of the target is as correctly represented as possible. So what is the difference between an emulator and a simulator? What it is mimicking? It is mimicking the software, the hardware and the OS. What is simulator mimicking? It is mimicking the internal behavior of the device but not the hardware. How do you get emulators? They are generally provided by the manufacturers. Same for simulator or by some other organization as well. In internal structure, an emulator is written using a machine level language, whereas a simulator is written using a high level language. An emulator is more suitable for debugging, simulator is not. Performance-wise, emulators are relatively slow, whereas simulators are very much faster. An example of an emulator is a Google Android SDK, and an example of a simulator is Apple iOS simulator. So these are the two entities which you basically create. So effectively, you are creating your virtual devices. So you create an emulator for your Android device, and if you are trying it for an iOS, you are creating a simulator. Is this clear? Any questions? So a comparison between a real device versus an emulator. The price. Getting the actual device is definitely very costly. Emulator and simulator are generally free. The processing speed is very fast, but network latency may be normal. Emulator and simulator are comparatively slower to real device. Debugging is not easy in a real device. In emulator and simulator, you generally have step-by-step instructions for debugging your application. Web application, there is not much difference. Reliability, when you are going to test on an actual real device, you have more accurate results. Whereas in an emulator and a simulator, you cannot, replace it for an actual device. It may lead to sometimes false results. So it's a little low on reliability. So what an emulator and simulator cannot mimic? It cannot mimic a device battery. It cannot mimic device camera. It is difficult to mimic interruptions like incoming call and SMS. For example, you might want to test for your application that while somebody is working and they receive a call or an SMS, which is pretty much normal how your app behaves. Then there is not much realistic simulation available for mobile device memory usage. So generally when the actual development is in place, it's a good idea to use an emulator or a simulator. But before finalizing a product and for a sanity check before you release it out in the market, it is always required that it should have been tested on real devices. So how will you establish a test automation lab for real devices? For that, either you can create your own test automation lab with real devices, but if it is not something which is a very frequent activity, or it is not something that you are not an organization with lot of apps, you might not want to invest on it. So there are some cloud-based solutions which are available out there for mobile app testing. So you have services available from Amazon, you have services available from Source Labs, then you have something called as Xamarin Cloud, it's Test, and there is also an Indian organization which provides you with the mobile automation test labs over cloud, that's called pClouding. These are all interesting solutions out there which provides you with the mobile test automation platform for on actual devices. So depending upon the costing and your budget and your requirements and the type of services which are provided, you can use these cloud-based mobile test automation labs to do your work. Just have a look at these links. Just go through them. If you have any questions, we can discuss it. Just have a browse through these links. Guys, done reading it? Any questions in here? Any questions? Okay. Marian, are you there? Or you told me you're feeling a little sleepy today. I hope you have not dozed off. Okay, cool. Great. So what we are going to talk about now, but before we go on a break, I want you guys to try out this interface, and after that we will take a short break. And this interface is important because we are going to now start a little bit of discussion on the objects of an Android application so that we are able to write a script. So what you have to do is, you have to go to your folder where your Android SDK is available. So see users, I'm trying it on my system. Please go to the same path on your system. So basically you have to reach this path. In the SDK, go to Tools Bin folder. There you will see an exe available or a Windows batch file called as UI Automator Viewer. Double click on it to launch this. You should see this interface of UI Automotive Viewer. When you are done launching, let me know. You all should see this interface as I have shown you. Launched, great. Aryan, what about you? For you, the approach might be a little bit different. I've shared a link with you. Have you received the link? Let's see how it works for you.
Okay. So I'm not able to find the path.
Um,
And then this is what I was telling you earlier, that my Bing says it's not working.
what is not working?
The Java home is not set properly. So when I
No, go to the Android SDK.
yeah, in the terminal.
No, go at the folder level. Let us first have a look at the folder level for your Android SDK.
You can find where it is. It's supposed to be in cache.
Go to users. Look at your path again. Library, Android SDK.
Yeah, I don't see the library here.
Go to this path via terminal. Escape :Q exclamation. :Q exclamation. Enter. Go to this path. The path which is available on your system for Android SDK. Please create a notepad where you will keep these paths. I told you yesterday as well. That's important. It is not in your library. It is in your users. Okay, you are already in the users repository. Okay. Now say CD Android. Now say CD SDK. Say ls. Say CD tools. Say CD bin and then again say ls. CD bin. ls again. Here is your UI Automator viewer. Now type in UI Automator viewer and press enter. No, you don't have to say CD, just say UI Automator viewer. Press tab.
I do the tab, it doesn't work.
Type the name. Type
Yeah.
it. Enter. Okay. Interesting. Okay, Marine, we will see that later. Okay, so what we are going to do is, once we have launched the UI Automator, open your Android Studio and launch your AVD which we created yesterday. So basically, we are going to open the AVD manager, and I am going to start my AVD. So it has launched. In here, I am basically going to open the calculator app here. And I am going to click on this icon to take a snapshot. So what it will do is, it will capture the device snapshot. So launch your AVD, then launch your UI Automator viewer, and then capture the snapshot. Okay, it's appearing black. Let me do it one more time. So basically, this snapshot which is captured, which right now is appearing black for some reasons, it effectively shows you this calculator screen, and as you traverse the different objects of this screen, you are able to effectively fetch information located in here or associated with the object. For example, this is displaying the division symbol. It has got this resource ID and so on and so forth. Okay, maybe my system is acting a little slow today, but are you guys able to fetch this screenshot? Any one of you? Yes, it's working for you guys. So let me have a look at your screen. Great. So what you did, Marian?
I did open UI Automator, and then it
Okay.
launched another terminal, and then
You
and
just
then
said
it opened it.
you said open UI Automator.
Yeah, then it opened it, and then I went to, and then I followed your steps.
Okay, great. So the command is open space UI Automator viewer.
Yeah.
I will mention that in notes.
Hmm.
Okay. So now when you have launched it, can I see the Automator viewer for you? Yeah. Now if you bring your cursor to any of the objects, let's say you bring it to 7. Yeah, bring it to 7. Right. Do you see the object information being changing? So on the top, in the right hand corner, on the top screen, what you see is the hierarchy. So if you scroll above, you basically are looking at the hierarchy of this image, okay, or this window. So it has taken a snapshot of your screen and it is displaying you the hierarchy of the different objects associated with this window. And then when you bring your cursor to an individual element, it is effectively telling you about the different properties which are associated with this element. Okay. So now what you can do is click on the save icon. There is a save icon available above.
I'm sorry, what icon?
Save icon, save. When you took
Save.
the snapshot, just on the last icon is a save icon.
Oh,
Here
okay.
you can save you can create a new folder at a location. And what you can do is you can basically save the screenshot of this screen. So you do not have to open AVD again. Okay, you can just open your screenshot. So let me show you. So for me it will appear in black. Sorry about that. I'll fix it. So what you are going to see is when you capture the screenshot, you can click on the save icon in here. It will ask you for a location and you can basically save this dump. Now you can effectively open the information from this dump. So you can just provide the path to this dump and instead of having the AVD every time, it will just launch from the dump. Okay. So that's what we can do in here. So try this out. For me it will not work because it is not capturing the screenshot properly. But you guys can try out. capture the screenshot and the dump and then try to open it after you have closed your AVD. No, you don't have to close the UI Automator viewer. Once you have captured the screenshot and the dump, you can close the AVD, that is your virtual device, and then you can simply open the same information by opening it from the dump and the screenshot you have captured. So you don't have to launch AVDs every time. Once you have captured your screenshot of your application windows, you can effectively create a folder where you save all these screenshots and then work with it. It is a little less heavy on the system. Works for you, Marian? Great. What about you, Sameer? Is it working for you also? Yes, it is convenient. Actually, I cannot show you because my system is misbehaving a little today. I'm making it the presenter. Let's do it on your system together. So share your screen. So I've made you the presenter. You can share your screen. We can hear you. You need to start sharing the screen. Launch the AVD and then launch your automated viewer. First, launch your AVD is already launched. Click on the play icon to launch the AVD. No, it's not launched. Click on the play icon. Right. Now go to the bin folder and launch UI Automated Viewer. In the tools bin folder, now take the screenshot. You can maximize the screen. Yeah. Take the screenshot. 1 second. Is your APM server right now launched? No, if your APM server is launched, you need to close it. Close everything. You told me you were able to get the screenshot. Close APM server. You told me it was working for you, right? A few minutes back. I can hear you, Samir. You can talk to me. I can hear voices from your end.
Yeah, actually it was working. I saved it on C drive. Yeah, screenshot is there, but when I
Okay, so you have the screenshot. Now click on the open folder icon.
this is showing like this. I don't know.
Maximize it. Maximize your automated viewer. Now open it.
It's been showing like that.
Why is it showing like this for you? Here you basically get a path. Can you expand this window? Is there a way to expand this? Like bring your cursor to the end.
No.
This is really weird. Never seen it before. No, move will not do anything.
No, it should
Okay,
sure.
try it out later after restarting the system. Maybe it will work.
Okay.
Okay. This is like not normal behavior. It should just open as a normal GUI application, and it should allow you to open this dump file and UX file. Okay. So just try it after the session is over, and if
Okay.
you have any trouble, let me know. So what basically we have done is available in this link. I'm sharing the link with you guys, and it is an excellent website. I want you guys to keep this website handy, whether you are working on APM or you want to learn Selenium. It's an excellent website with some great articles about the different concepts, whether setup or actual working when you're working with tools like APM and Selenium. It is one of the best information and accurate information available. So what I was trying to tell you guys, the steps which we have done is available in this link. So if in case you are struggling a little bit, just refer to this link later and figure it out. It should be straightforward. And if in case you have any challenges, just drop me an email and we will see how to we proceed. So I'm going to not go further today because I don't want to stress so much and talk too much about and load you with information. So what we have done effectively is we have ensured in these two classes that our system works for the APM environment. We have tried the Android Home, we have tried the SDK Manager, the AVD Manager, and the UI Automated Viewer. We have created a virtual device. So our environment which we require to start coding and start automating the applications is working. So the very first application we are going to start our script on is the calculator app. Only one thing is remaining, and that thing is when we set up an actual device. So can you guys tell me what devices you are going to use, the actual device you will be using? I'll tell you the information which I want you to set up and try it on your system. So if you can tell me the name of your device, what you are going to use. Nexus tablet and Samsung Galaxy S6 UI Mate. Okay, what you guys have to do is, I'm sharing this link with you. You have to do a Google search individually for your device name. Basically, if we have to connect to a real device, you have to enable the developer options in there, or you have to basically enable the US debugging mode and the developer options, so that we can work with the device. So I've shared the link with you which talks about the steps. It is talking about the steps in general. So for you, Sameer, the device which you are using, you just do a Google search with the device name and this link, like enabling US debugging options, USB debugging option, and same thing for you, Marian. And when you connect the device with a port to your system, and you type it on the command prompt ADB devices after you have enabled the debugging option, it should be able to show you an ID associated with your device. Okay, that is where we have to reach. So this is your assignment, or you can think of it as a setup assignment you guys have to do on your own. So this is your setup assignment which you guys have to try on your system. Okay. Any questions in here? Anything which is not clear? Okay, cool. So with this last thing, our setup activities will be complete. Our basic information or knowledge which we require about APM as a tool is also complete. And from the next class onwards, we will start discussing about the concept of locators, and we will start working on an actual application to try to automate it. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for today. Marian, setting up Java Home, if you have set up Android Home, setting up Java Home is even easier. Just do a Google search and set it up. The commands are same. You have to say export path and you have to provide the variable Java underscore home and provide the path. And you will have to do it every time you open a new terminal. Just Google search it for Mac. You should be good to go. Don't worry on that front. The way you have set up Android Home, where your Android is available, similarly, your Java is available at a location. Are you facing any trouble so far because of it? Did you face any trouble while working? We were able to do everything, right? So let's go with it. Let's see if we face an issue. Everything is working for you. APM is working, Android is working. Let's see. And again, if you face challenge, drop me an email. Okay then. Thanks a lot guys for your time today. I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye everyone.